Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be making a miso butternut squash soup. Last week I was clearing out my fridge and I came up with this recipe. This dish is going to be completely vegan, so if that's not what you're into, you can go to another video. But last week I had all these ingredients in my fridge and I wanted to see if I could make something vegan taste good. No, that's too much. So this is our butternut squash. We are going to peel this first. I have my peeler. Boom. Boom. Oh, this is going to take forever. So now that we have our squash peeled, we're going to cut it right down the middle. We're going to cut off the sides too. Probably should cut those off first. And then we're going to cut it down the middle. So we're going to take a spoon. Where's my spoon? So we're just going to take our spoon and scoop out the seeds. Boom. All right, now that we have our squash all gutted and peeled, we're going to chop them into cubes. Some recipes have you roast this before, but we're going to do this method because we're just going to boil them. I think it's going to be a little bit faster this way than roasting it in the oven for like over an hour. All right, so let's cube these up. All right, here's our squash. We're going to get to the other ingredients. 1 onion. You're just going to dice this up. All right, onions are done. All right, so next we're going to cut up some green onions. The green part is going to be for the garnish, and we're going to use the whites and toss them in with the other onions. We can just chop these like this. And our greens, we're just going to cut it on a bias. And we're going to toss these into some ice water. This is going to keep the onions from wilting. All right, next we're going to take our garlic cloves and we're going to give them each a smash to help the skins peel off easier. Just like that. We're just going to slice them long ways. All right, garlic done. All right, next we're going to be peeling some ginger. We're not going to use all of this. We're probably just going to use half of this. But if you haven't been peeling your ginger with a spoon, this is how to do it. Just take your ginger, take your spoon. Boom, look how easy that comes off. If you're using an actual peeler, shame on you. And for our ginger, we're just going to cut them long ways. Just give it a rough chop. By the way, this is all going into a blender, or if you have an immersion blender, you can use that. And our ginger is done. So all our veggies are prepped, and now we're going to get started with the cook. All right, so we have our pan. We're going to put a little bit of oil, and we're going to caramelize the squash. All right, depending on how much squash you have and how big your pan is, we're just going to place some of them in here. We don't want to overcrowd it out. This is probably going to take 2 rounds. And all we're looking for is a little bit of color on these. So this is what we're looking for, just a little bit of brown. And once you see that, flip it over. Our first batch is done, so we're just going to set these aside and then get the rest of these in. I don't know if it's really necessary to do this step, but we're just trying it out. Last time I made this recipe, I didn't do this, so you could totally skip it. So we got some color on our squash, and now we're going to saute the onions, garlic, and ginger. All right, we're going to go onions in first. This is also including the whites of our green onion. Mix that around. All right, once your onions have sweat down for about 5 minutes, we're going to toss in our ginger and our garlic. Give this a little mix, and we're going to cook this down for another 5-ish minutes. Once your aromatics start getting a little bit of color, we're going to toss in our squash back in. Squash, squash, squash. All right, I have 3 cups of veggie stock, and we're just going to pour this in. And this should be just enough to cover all the ingredients. All right, we're going to take our lid and we're going to top this. We're going to let this cook for around 45 minutes or until you can squish the squash. All right, our squash is simmering at a medium heat, and now we're going to prep our garnishes. So I have some shredded coconut right here. We're just gonna put about half a cup in this pan. And we're just gonna lightly toast this. Oh, I also forgot, I have about a cup of coconut milk. I forgot to add it to the pot, so we're just gonna do that right now. All right, so you wanna make sure you move this around. You can see it's already browning pretty quickly. You just wanna toss it every couple of seconds. So you want your toasted coconut to get about this color. I'm gonna kill the heat and set this aside. All right, our squash has been cooking for 30-ish minutes. Let's take a look. Whoa, whoa. All right, to make sure that the squash is done, we're gonna take one, and if you can pierce it pretty, oh yeah, you can just see it's just crumbling right now. So that's where, there, look at that, nice. So that's how you know that's where we wanna be. At this point, we are going to add our miso and our honey. So we have some miso. We're gonna take about maybe 1 tablespoon. That looks like a tablespoon. And then also you can add a little more honey if you want. We're gonna go, that's a tablespoon, I think, maybe, we'll see. And we're just gonna mix all of that in there. We're gonna let this cook a little bit more for maybe about like 2-3 minutes to let that miso dissolve. The miso should be dissolved by now. At this point, we can take an immersion blender and blend this up right here, but I really want a smooth consistency, so we're gonna take it to the Vitamix. All right, we're just gonna load up our Vitamix. All right, little by little. Hopefully this doesn't get everywhere. Ah! Ah! All right, does this look full to you? All right, well, it's below the max line, so I think we're good. All right, it's loaded into our Vitamix. We're just gonna be extra careful, put a towel around this in case it explodes. All right, we're gonna make sure we go on low, turn on, and slowly bring it up to speed. All right, that looks good. It feels good. You can kind of tell when it stops blending the big chunks and it becomes smoother. Wow, that's amazing. I don't know if you can see this, but it's pretty smooth right now. Look at that. All right, we have our butternut squash soup, and we're just gonna add it back to the pot. Nice. You don't wanna waste any of it. Get a spatula, get in there. Just a little taste. It's pretty good. It tastes great. We're just gonna add a little bit of salt. Maybe a teaspoon. And again, taste it, make sure you salt it, however you like it. Some people don't like salt. I love salt, so let's mix that in there. Boom. Way better. Now we're gonna plate. So let's not forget about those green onions. We're gonna strain them out of the ice water. And we're just gonna pat them dry on a paper towel. Nice. Which bowl should I use? Green? I think the green and the...
Green and orange is good.
Yeah. All right, so we're not gonna do anything crazy for the plating. We're just gonna go squash in first. Oops. Oh, this is what I forgot. I'm forgetting everything. So if you get canned coconut milk, we only use the cup, so you should have some left over. So we're just gonna take a spoon, drizzle it around, just like that. We have our toasted coconut, sprinkle it around, and then just top it with some green onions in the middle. And there you have it. This is our miso butternut squash soup. So first bite, let's see how this tastes. For a completely vegan dish, this tastes pretty good. Not hating on the vegans, but everything I cook usually has meat in it, so this is pretty good. I know this isn't a Filipino dish, but sometimes you just gotta use what's in your fridge. Next week will definitely be Filipino, so I hope you guys check it out. Yeah, I'm gonna finish this. See you guys next week. Big slurp.